Hello everybody, this is John Oldham from Harvey Cedars. Hope you're doing well today. And we want to wish you a wonderful Thanksgiving with family and friends, and take the time to be thankful for what God has given to you. So many people around the world have so little. I think about the people in Nigeria, the Christians in Nigeria that are being slaughtered for their faith, and we have so much and such freedom. Last month we talked about John chapter 5 with the healing of the man that was born crippled, and he was there crippled for 38 years, as he said. Today I want to talk about John chapter 6, and there's a lot of excitement that goes on in John chapter 6. First off, we start with the feeding of the 5,000, and then Jesus walks on the water, and if you take a look at the bay, you can see a little bit of a storm out there, or you can see the whitecaps, about a 2.5-foot swell out there, and so it's kind of nasty. You imagine just seeing Jesus come walking across those whitecaps. It would have been a little scary, and it was at night. That was a very interesting thing. But I want to talk about the feeding of the 5,000. It says that there were 5,000 people that came. They're coming because Jesus is doing these miracles. He's healing people. And if you had someone that was sick, or someone that was lame, or someone that had some type of an ailment, you would take them to someone that could heal them, right? Like we go to the doctors, and the doctors can give us some medication, but oftentimes we're not healed. Right? But Jesus could heal them. People that were blind could see. People that were lame could walk, right? And we saw Lazarus, someone that was dead, that was raised from the dead. And so Jesus, the crowds are following him. There's they say 5,000 people here. And so he says, how are we going to feed them? And he knew what he was going to do already. He was God, right? But so they find these 5 loaves and 2 fishes, right? 2 little fish. And everybody's like, well, that isn't going to do very much. And Jesus says, just kind of watch and see. And it says he gave thanks. And that's kind of what I want to talk about a little bit, is that we should always give thanks. And at this Thanksgiving season, we should give thanks to God for all that he does for us. We should always, even in the simple things of life, even like we're sitting down over a meal, that God has provided that for us, that we should give thanks. But there's much more to that feeding of the 5,000 than just the giving thanks. Right? One of the things in John that's very, very interesting is that we have these signs, and the feeding of the 5,000 is one of the signs. You know, remember, John gives us his purpose in 20, 30, and 31. Many other signs and wonders Jesus did, but these were recorded that you might believe that Jesus is the Christ, the Son of God, and that by believing you might have life in his name. And so feeding of the 5,000 is one of these signs. But then there's another thing in John that's very interesting, is that there's these what we call the I am statements. And these are amazing, and they would have meant a lot to the people, the Jewish people that were there, because it goes back to the Old Testament in Exodus, when Moses is sitting before the burning bush, right? If you remember that, and he says, "Who are you?" And he goes, "I am who I am." He was God. He was God that was talking to Moses. And so when Jesus was saying, "I am," these I am statements, it goes back to that thing. And what Jesus is saying is, "I am God. I am God." And so after he feeds the 5,000, what does he say? I am the bread of life. And what he's saying is that I am God, and I am here now. And so you would have gone back, and he's saying, look, I'm the one that gives life. The bread that we got in the wilderness, right? That sustained physical life, right? And the manna that they got every morning that saved them for the 40 years that they wandered in the wilderness was like an amazing thing, although they got tired of it, right? But it was an amazing thing, and that gave them physical life. But he says, I am the bread of life. I am the one that gives spiritual life. I am the one that gives spiritual life, and I am God, and only God can do these things, and I am here now. And so when you read that John chapter 6, there's so much that goes on there, and so much sometimes that we miss. But when you see those I am statements, he is saying, I am who I am. And it goes back to the Old Testament, and I am God, and I am here now. So always be thankful, even in the little things of life. I hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving. From Harvey Cedars, have a great day.